Hello and welcome. I am Brently, and this is Unapologetics, the podcast, where we read a Christian article and explain why it's stupid. And today, we've got kind of a crazy one, honestly. I did not expect to see this one. Kind of caught me by surprise there. It's called, the headline here is 10 porn stats that helped this homeschool mom. So, I was homeschooled and looked at porn. So this is, very relevant to me anyway. So that's why I was like, oh shit, here we go. Oh, I got it. That's it. I'm done. I'm putting the phone down. Yeah. And so, I was homeschooled by, very religious parents, that were trying to shelter me from literally everything. I wasn't even allowed to watch. They used to make these cartoons of popular 80s movies, like Ghostbusters, and I was not allowed to watch Ghostbusters. Like that's how serious my family was about this shit. No, my mom's the sweetest lady in the world. Like I don't like to give her too much of a hard time because I know she did the absolute best she possibly could because she loved me, and that's awesome and everything. But like this is part of why I'm on such a tear against religion, because as awesome of a person as she is, she made a lot of choices based off of religious ideals and whatnot that she was encouraged to do from people at the church and whatnot. So, it's like that one. I can't remember who said it, but it's like it takes like bad people do bad things. And good people do good things, but it takes religion to make good people do bad things. And I can't remember who. Like I'm butchering it, but it is a good quote because it shows that like, hey, these people don't mean to be bad. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of times we forget that. I think a lot of times we forget that they don't know that they don't know. And I think that's why I so often I do these debates. Debates, they're not really debates. They're conversations with Christians. And I just did another one with a Catholic dude who had debated Robert Stanley. He debated Shane the Skeptic. So I was like, yeah, dude, let's hang out. Let me talk to this dude. Very smart guy. He had a degree in psychology. He worked in psychology administration. But we had a really interesting conversation. It's up on my YouTube channel. If you go to youtube.com/at Brently, Brently, Brentlee, Brentlee, and check it out. But the reason on those debates, I'm quite friendly. I try to be. It's nothing like how I am on my other the other work that I do, where my whole job is to ridicule religion, and do it in a way that's like, it almost makes it hard for even the religious to not laugh at their shit. That's my goal, but when I have these conversations, it's a whole different situation. And, so I try really hard to be patient. I try really hard to be understanding. Because I was there, I was there. I was wrapped up in this shit, and I didn't know that I didn't know, until I came across god-awful movies and, started just laughing at it. And, and then looking further into how silly it is, and then being like, oh, no, this actually is super fucking silly. The reverence is all just done on my part. I have decided that this stuff matters, as silly and stupid as it is. And, so I try to be patient with these people, and I try to encourage people to be patient when they are interacting with them. When you're not, ridicule the fuck out of it. Make fun. Make it so they have to laugh at their shit if they hear you talking. That's my goal. That's my whole bag for why I'm doing what I'm doing. and everything surrounding that. But so this article, when I started like just going through headlines, I haven't even read the article. I'm being completely honest. I was running behind today, just going through some stuff, and just some health stuff, and was at the hospital real late tonight and everything. So I'm just running late. Having a bit of a rough day here, but this, doing this show kind of helps me center myself, and so it's important that I still do it, you know what I mean? But when this popped out of me, I was just like, oh man, awesome, yes, because I remember going through this. I remember being a child and being taught that, like, porn was it was probably the biggest punch to the gut that you could do to your parents, which, come on, that makes no sense, when you actually understand like how just our puberty works, and that's like, that puberty is majorly something that religious people try to act like is not a fucking thing. They're just trying to pretend that that's just a part of our anatomy we skip, and then all of a sudden, we're able to just, oh yeah, we understand literally everything about sex. And it's like, nope, it doesn't work like that. You kind of your kids are gonna look at porn, man. I'm sorry. I know it's a bit like weird, right, for parents. Yet like a reason number 277 why I don't want to have kids and will not have kids. Not just don't want to, I will not have kids. And neither, and it's not because I'm making my partner not have kids. It's because neither one of us want fucking kids. Okay, nothing against the people with kids. Okay, we're just not you guys. That's probably the only reason I have time to do this fucking show. But yeah, so I get why it's weird for parents and everything like that. Like, just any parents, not even Christian, but could you imagine being a fucking Christian and trying to deal with this shit? it makes us secularists like uncomfortable to have to have to talk about this shit with our kids. From what I understand, what I've been told, right? 'Cause again, I don't have kids, but so I was like, oh man, this is gonna be quite the interesting article, So it's written by Barb Winters. God, I don't know why that name just sounds even more Christian. Oh yeah, Barb Winters does she does the Bake Off. Yeah. It just sounds. It just has that sound to it. Sorry if there's any atheist Barb Winters listening, or just Barb in general. I think it's the Barb. Honestly, that's. I think that's what's throwing me there. But okay, here we go. When I learned my son was watching pornography, I had a difficult time reconciling how this could have happened in my home. We were a homeschool family who taught right from wrong to our children. I assumed they would make good choices as they matured. Yeah, and again, like, the stuff you do during puberty, not a choice. Like, kids aren't reasoning that shit out, man. Oh my god. Okay, reading pornography statistics helped me deal. Helped me deal with my emotions and what I perceived as inept parenting on my part. Now, this one. Wow, see, and I didn't even know that they would go into this. But yeah, the inept parenting part, it's like that is something that just, it seems that religion and Christianity in general, specifically conservative Christianity, is very, you better be hard on yourself. Kind of, the whole mentality is to beat the fuck out of yourself. Beat yourself up. You're not doing good enough. You're broken. The only reason you can do anything right is because of Jesus. That, and it's really sad. I honestly just really, like, for most of the time, I just feel bad for these people. But yeah, yeah, so she's of course blaming herself at this point for her kid watching porn. Something that, like, is the most fucking normal thing to do. Like, in an age where the internet exists, like, holy shit, like, porn is the easiest fucking thing to get on the planet. You can You could be looking for a toy gun that straps on, and look that up as a 12-year-old. Strap on, and be like, oh shit. uh, um, our situation wasn't an anomaly. Rather, it was common. No fucking shit, lady. So funny. When I learned how prevalent this behavior was, I managed to step outside myself and view this issue from a societal standpoint. Pornography is a public concern for Christian and non Christian families alike. I don't know if it's a public concern. Like, that's kind of a weird way to say it. You know, like it's like STDs. It's a public concern. No, 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 it's not. It's it. It's just something pretty much every fucking kid's gonna do at some point in their life. Honestly, like whether they're a boy or girl, like it, it doesn't matter. Like we all go through puberty, we all get all horned up, and it's something that's gonna happen. So it's fine. Holy shit. But when they're saying non-Christian families, I mean, I guess they just don't, because parents just don't like. Parents get weird about their kids watching porn, and I get that because it's just a part of reality that you both the kids and the parents understand the reality, right? They know that their parents had to have sex for them to exist, right? But they don't want to fucking think about that. It's like, and vice versa for the parent. Like the parents like know that their kids are gonna go through puberty and masturbate and shit, but they don't want to fucking think about that, because they want to act like those two things don't exist for one another, like vice versa. Yeah, that's the word. Fuck it. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I'm tired. Last month, Common Sense Media released a report entitled 2022 Teens and Pornography. The 27-page report is a compilation and summary of a survey conducted with 1,358 teens aged 13 to 17. I will outline some of their findings here in hopes that these pornography statistics help you understand the pervasiveness of pornography. And if you are a parent, relate with your children about this issue. I can't possibly hit every point or statistic, so I recommend reading the full report yourself. I have to say, this is, for what I'm used to with Christians and whatnot, this is actually kind of refreshing that they were like, oh, let's go look at the data. That's kind of interesting because I agree. I think like knowledge is power. Knowledge is a good thing. It's always a good thing, you know? And so for them to be like, hey, let's go look at this. Let's go check out like what the data says about that. That's very, that's mature of them and actually pretty fucking smart on her end. So I will give her that. So this part has like a little subcategory or just like a new headline. I don't know what to call these. They're like mid-article headlines. I don't know. Right? It's the next unit. I don't fucking article unit. A life-changing choice, and it says empower a child to choose you as their sponsor. What? Wait. Empower a child to choose you as their sponsor and witness the miracles that can unfold for both of you. Oh, wait. Oh, that's an ad. I am so... God damn, some of these things like run together in the weirdest way. And they're so bizarre that I have the hardest time. Because I'm like, that could sort of apply according to what they think. Anyway, all right. So there is no subcategory. Got it. All right, good. But sorry. That's fine. I'm tired. Before listing specific stats, I think it's important to understand the purpose of the report and Common Sense Media's definition of pornography. So this is just their definition, I guess, of pornography. So, in quotes, the purpose of the report is to understand the role that online pornography plays in U.S. adolescent life, and to establish a baseline for understanding U.S. teens pornography use. For this report, online pornography includes any videos or photos viewed on websites, social media, or anywhere else on the internet that show nudity and sexual acts intended to entertain and sexually arouse the viewer. Pornography often features explicit pictures of body parts, such as genitals. Yeah, it's in parentheses. Yep. And sexual acts, including oral sex, masturbation, and anal sex. Yep. All that stuff. Yep. All quotes in this post are from the Teens and Pornography Report. Okay, now we're into the sub category or subunit of the article. Article subunit 1. Here we go. 10 key findings. Right? The Common Sense Media Report lists the following key findings from the survey. Most teens, 73%, reported that they have consumed pornography. Consumed is just like the wrong word there. I mean, I see why they have to say that, but it just doesn't feel right. Something about that doesn't. I mean, you consume a fucking banana split. You know what I'm saying? Like, you watch pornography. It's like, this sounds weird. Just like, I can't help but like picture somebody just eating a porn sandwich. All right. My goodness. The average age of first exposure was 12, with 15% saying they had first seen porn at age 10 or younger. Jeez Louise. Okay. 2. Just under half of all teens, 44%, indicated that they had done so intentionally. They're like, I don't know, man. I slipped and fell and boom, internet porn. Yeah. Now, while slightly more than half, 58%, indicated that they had encountered pornography accidentally. 29% reported both intentional and accidental viewing. I was both. It was, what? I tripped and fell and also just looked at it. What? Jesus. All right. 3. Of those reporting accidental exposure, 63% indicated they had been exposed in the past week, which could indicate that unintentional pornography exposure was a common experience for respondents. Number 4, reported rates of exposure were similar across demographics, but there was a significant difference by gender in terms of intentional consumption. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I think guys are a bit more into that dealio, you know, because of those particular hormones. I think I'm not really sure, you know, exactly how different the sexual organs are and the sexual what do you got the hormones and all that, like how differently that plays out. Because I know, of course, now we know that isn't definitive, right? Like these things are not as cut and dry as we'd like to think, or that we had thought in the past. And that it's a major point of contention, it seems, for a lot of conservatives at this point, mainly because they won the abortion thing, so now they have to vilify trans people to motivate people to get them to the polls, which is really gross to just throw an entire demographic of people under the bus like that. But here we are. That's why we gotta keep fighting, because they will just hurt people. Holy shit! Just as a society, Charlie Kirk literally said that they should take care of trans people the other day. Like he's talking about a unwanted fetus, or a fucking or like a mafia boss talking to the Iceman or something. Anyway, number 5, rates of intentional pornography consumption were also higher among respondents who are LGBTQ plus. 66%, including transgender and non-binary respondents. 66%. See, this is what I'm talking about. So, of course, she has to try to include that for some reason. I mean, just to get the big, see, they do have sex like porn. See? Deviancy. Well, you're going over, you literally just said that this is so common, it's unbelievable, yet you're focusing on the LGBTQIA plus community, as point number 5 Uh, okay. I mean, I thought we were talking about your kid here, but I don't know. I mean, maybe she does have a queer child or something. I don't know. Um, Number six, there was tension between respondents' enjoyment of pornography and their feelings of guilt associated with consuming it. I wonder why that is. That's crazy, right? That's just wild. Uh, most felt okay about the amount of pornography they watched, but half reported feeling guilty or ashamed after watching. Yeah, I mean, it's and because of the stigma, I think that surrounds, just sex in general, especially with, the religious right. I mean, my goodness, they're just so fucking prude that yeah, I swear I feel like it all stems from just that awkwardness of just not being able to talk to their kids about a certain thing, which is sex, because sex is supposed to be evil, unless you're married and the very specific confines of the very specific marriage, which is kind of stupid and crazy. So, but number seven, teens indicated that they were learning about sex from the pornography they consume. Almost seems like we might need better education surrounding the matter. I don't know. I'm just gonna throw that out there. I'm just gonna, I don't know. Just saying. Just saying. All right. Seven. Oh yeah. Eight. A majority of teens who indicated they have viewed pornography have been exposed to aggressive and or violent forms of pornography. Which I mean, I hate to. I'm not a yum yucker, right, or anything like that, and I don't kink shame, right? And but I do the opposite. If you don't have a kink, you're fucking weird. Okay, you're weird. Okay, don't you have just regular sex? What, you look at the porn that's the actual porn on the website, where it's like, yeah, there's from you porn or whatever that doesn't that wasn't made by non-professionals. Come on, get the fuck out of here, man. You're weird. Okay, quit looking at normal porn. You fucking weirdo. Because violent porn is the best. Okay, it's fun. Pain is fun. Anyway, uh, nine, exposure to racial and ethnic stereotypes in pornography was also common. Now, this shit is kind of a problem. As far as what I've looked at, I'm just like, oh my God. Like, I'm surprised they're not just saying, like, the N word at this point. You know what I mean? Like, you're just like, holy good God, man. Like, can't you Like, I get that you're describing who's in the fucking video and everything, but Jesus Christ, y'all. We got to do something. There needs to be some kind of uh, being able to report or something. Not report, but just being like a way to, yeah, report and be like, hey, change the fucking title of this thing, man. Is there no other way to describe, these particular demographics having sex? Jeez Louise, it gets out of the pocket, as Dickie would say, real quick. Okay. Um, all right. Let's see. Number 10. Most teens have discussed sex related issues with trusted adults, but less than half, 43%, have discussed pornography. Okay, so yeah, they're talking about sex, but they're not talking about pornography. That makes pretty good sense. I mean, sex is something that like is it's kind of expected, and it's like an actual thing, rather than pornography. It's sort of just looking at the actual thing. Other notable findings. This sub article unit 2. uh, Nearly one third of all teens reported that they have been exposed to pornography during the school day. Oh, man, see, that's a fun school. See, now that's why I'm bummed I was homeschooled. Jeez, I had no access to jack shit. And it was like the beginning of the internet too, where like everybody was terrified of it, and they had like a million different fucking like spy on your kids wares. Anyway, yeah, I got in pretty big trouble about that. Anyway, maybe I'll go over that at some point here. Among all teens surveyed, 23% had seen porn in person at school, And wait, seen? Oh, in person at school. Okay, so while they're going to school, they saw someone looking at porn. My goodness, that was worded poorly. It's like among all teens surveyed, 23% had seen porn in person. Like they're sitting there watching it being filmed at school. Like what the fuck is going on at that school? Jesus. All right, and 12% while attending school remotely. Okay. Of those who had watched pornography in person at school, 41% attended a private or religious school. Yeah, I mean that makes sense. When parents sit there and vilify shit, of course, like hey, my parents are really scared of this super normal thing that I don't even know why, but I just feel like I have to look at it. It's weird. It's always like it makes my just below my belly button feel funny. It's like yeah, man, of course that's gonna happen. Let's see. Okay, private or religious. So 20% at a traditional public school, 31% at a charter or magnet school. Okay, I don't know why that matters. And 11% were homeschooled. That's me. Yep, there we go. Yeah. And yep, I did look at porn and did get in trouble for it. And my and trying to because of the specific things that I enjoy. That was a very very awkward conversation. And to me, honestly, it like just shows like that, that like kinks and stuff like this. And it's not all in the same bag. I understand that. So I want to make very clear these are different things, right? So like gender identity, kink, being a kinkster. I'm a kinkster. I'm pansexual and a kinkster, right? And like other, and LGBTQIA plus, all these things are different, right? They're all different things, right? But the point is, I don't feel like I chose my kink stuff. Like it was weird because like before I even knew it existed, as far as like pornography goes, I was thinking about it. So, so yeah, I can absolutely see, and it was young. I was young when I got into that sort of stuff, and yeah, that was a difficult conversation with my family because like just regular porn was like already terrifying to them, and then I'm like enjoying like Amazon BDSM shit. That again, like I knew I liked that stuff before I even knew there was porn out there. I'm like, other people like this shit. This is fucking awesome. And so, yeah, my parents were freaked out, man. My mom like comes in and sits down. We gotta talk to you about this lady glamazon. I don't know what is that? What is this glamazon thing? Like I don't know. I like really big ladies beating up really small guys. I don't know. It's awesome. What are you talking about? Have you seen it? It's fucking great. Let's open book on this one. All right. Oh Jesus. So, but my point was that yeah, it's not a choice. This stuff it exists well before we can make rational decisions about any of it, right? And that's I think my main point here. um, while there is a difference in the number of children exposed depending on their school type, we should note that all children are at risk of being exposed during the school day. Yeah, because this is the thing. She was freaking out because it's like, what the fuck? I even homeschool my kid. Like I literally there's a ball and chain tied to his fucking leg right now. Like I don't even what the heck? How is this? you know, like I keep him in a fucking dog crate. Why? I don't know how he figured out. you know, but of the teens who reported in the survey that they have deliberately viewed pornography. 59% indicated that they intentionally consume pornography every week. Oh my God, every week? Jeez Louise. Yeah, it was definitely. I was on a higher level than that. That's for sure. Fucking once a week. Jeez Louise. All right. I guess enjoy it when you enjoy it. I guess. I don't know. They intentionally consume pornography every week, not just in the previous 7 days. What? Of these, 38% viewed it through social media. Okay. I guess Twitter, right? I don't know that you can do it on Facebook. I always get dinged when I do that anyway. They got pretty upset with me when I tried to share some really cool stuff that I think everybody really would have enjoyed had they not been so fucking weird about the whole situation. Anyway, trusted adults. Because of my interactions with parents, caregivers, and leaders, I was most interested in the portion of the report about trusted adults. In the list of places where teens had learned about sex, the highest ranking category was a parent, caregiver, or trusted adult, 47%, followed by friends, 41%, sex education in school, 32%, and then online pornography, 27%. When teens were asked about topics discussed with a parent, guardian, or a trusted adult, relationships came out on top, 82%. Porn was the topic least discussed, 43%, with sex, condoms, and birth control ranking between these two topics. Not really sure if I understand all that fully, because I was most interested in the portion of the report about just adults. It just seemed like talking about sex. Oh, learned about sex. Okay, that makes sense. All right. So they're saying like from trusted adults they learned about sex, which makes sense. It's like usually your like best friend's older brother or some shit, you know what I mean? And he's just making sex jokes because he thinks it's funny, and you're like, I don't get it. What is this all about? What does that mean? What is a wet dream? That's just pee in your pants, right? Yeah. But most teens in the survey reported positive outcomes resulting from their conversations with a trusted adult about pornography. Okay, we got an article. There's one last. So many teens wish to have conversations with a trusted adult, but don't know how to initiate the conversation, or said they didn't know who to talk to. So now we got another, which, I mean, that makes good sense too, because everybody's fucking freaked out about it. If it even comes up in a movie, everybody's like, don't talk about what's in the morning. Like, everybody like freezes up. And you think kids can't see that shit? They can see that shit, okay? They can tell, So this section's called Now What? And the good news is that we can and do influence teens. That was a really weird way to say that. And they want to hear from us. While these pornography statistics could be depressing, we can be encouraged by the fact that we now have more information and are better equipped to talk with tweens. Tweens? I guess that's in between teen and adult. I don't know. Preteen? I don't know. And young adults. We cannot ignore these pornography statistics. The time to act is now. What the fuck are you, a car salesman? What's going on here? Okay. If you haven't broached. Okay. If you haven't broached this topic with your children, like just pin it on their lapel there, And it's like, okay, let's have a little conversation here. See, this is a porn lapel. And we're just going to stick it right on there. It's called a brooch. If you haven't broached this topic with your children or grandchildren, do so. If you've had conversations but they've been awkward or seemingly unproductive, that's okay. Yeah. Try again. You can do it. Yeah. And that is the article here. This was in the Christian Post too, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that. This is ChristianPost.com. And and it's the article is 10 porn stats that helped this homeschooled mom. Oh man, and I gotta say, that was quite entertaining. Holy shit! All right, yeah, that was pretty fun. Just because there was so much relatable shit in there that I was just like, oh my god, yeah, I remember this, I remember that. So it's a thing, and it's crazy because they talk about porn addiction and everything, and I do want to make sure that we uh, to understand that porn addiction isn't really a thing. Okay, most addictions you cause some sort of deficit by doing a substance, which then causes you to feel like you need the substance, therefore fulfilling the deficit, and then so on and so forth in kind of a negative behavior pattern loop, right? Uh, Porn isn't really like that. It's similar in some ways. It can be like what they call a negative behavior loop. But is it really though? Because I mean, when there's been a lot of like psychologists and whatnot and experts in the field that have basically said, look, the only time that people report, because this is all based on reporting, it's psychology, right? So like they say, and the only time that people actually report being addicted to pornography is usually only when they believe there's something wrong with doing it, right? When they've been taught that it's shameful, when they're been taught that sex is scary and wrong and and bad, and you're a bad person for doing it because you're not even allowed to like sex, you know. This sort of just I don't know, self-flagellating fucking religious bullshit. Most of the time, these people that report having a porn addiction that show up to a therapist. Now, this actually does happen. These people show up to a therapist and go, "I'm addicted to porn. Please help me." And it's the same thing that used to happen with gay people until we realized that this isn't a thing that anybody can cure. Because back in like what the 60s and 70s, or and before the 60s and 70s, I think that's like when we finally figured it out. But before the 60s and 70s, people would show up to a like psychologist and be like, "Can you make me straight? Can you play? It's shameful. It's bad. Blah 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 blah." Right? And their belief that it was shameful was what caused the quote unquote addictive behavior. Right? It wasn't the behavior itself. The behavior itself is not harmful. There's actually nothing wrong with it. It's their beliefs surrounding the behavior that make it seem to them like it's an addiction. It's not an addiction though. It's just a person doing a normal thing that that everybody does in one respect or another. But then they're feeling shame about it, and it's the shame that's the fucking problem, not the porn or not being gay and not all these other not liking Amazon, not all of that stuff. So you can see why people do, like, why sex addiction is talked about as if it is an addiction, even though it's really not. It's perceived to be an addiction by the people involved in it because of external factors, but not because they're actually fucking addicted. That's crazy and nonsensical. But well, hey, thank you so much for listening to this very weird episode of Unapologetics. You don't have to spread everything I've said here all over the internet, but whatever. I'm not gonna judge it. It's funny. Come on, it's funny. All right. But yeah, so go out there, enjoy your porn. Don't worry about your kids; they're gonna be okay. It's most more so than anything, and this is what's crazy about this sort of thing. Is they did touch on the violent nature of it for like 2 seconds, and then moved right the fuck on, which should have been the basis for the article. The basis of the article should have been that, like, here's what consent is. Okay, hey, this scene that is in this BDSM porn, video here, this is staged. They aren't actually keeping this person against their will. That person actually likes to get caged and beat and prodded and all this shit. That's a thing. And it's consent. And then they should have explained consent in fucking detail, because that was the one thing that I did not learn. Now, I was so afraid of sex for the longest time, or talking about it or doing anything, that I didn't even approach women like that, you know. So consent, I kind of got to the consent thing like by extension of sex sphere, you know. Um, but that's not the right way to do that because I was afraid of the wrong thing. I thought that the wrong thing was wrong. You know, it wasn't the act of sex that was wrong. It was the lack of understanding of consent and the fact that consent is ongoing. The fact that it can be revoked at any moment, hence the ongoingness of it. All these things are really, really important, and those are honestly what the article should have focused on. And I almost wonder if I almost want to go click on the source that they used for the article, and I wonder if they had some kind of link to something. It's like, oh yeah, and make sure to discuss consent with your kids because this is really important. I mean, it a lot of people fail in that regard, and it is very harmful. It is very harmful to the women, and I mean, it doesn't just happen to women either. But so, but to these, most of the time, it is women that get harmed out of this whole situation of people not understanding consent. And so I think we really, really need to focus on that as the central conversation surrounding sex. But and as far as like the porn stuff goes, don't worry about it. It's cool. Kids are gonna look at fucking porn, man. That's all right. But the important thing is that you got to make sure they're not out hurting people. That is the main thing, and getting them just scared of sex should not be the way to do that, because then it becomes very difficult later in life to get over that hump, to get over that hump. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's actually, yeah, that's a pretty solid way to say it. Jesus Christ. But it can have serious lasting effects, just terrorizing a kid surrounding them liking porn or them liking sex in general, liking watching it and stuff like that. Don't fuck with them on that stuff. Just make sure they understand consent. That is the most important thing there. But yeah, so this has been Unapologetics. Thank you so much for making it all the way to the end. If you please like and subscribe, give us 5 stars wherever you can do that on any Amazon, or I think it's Amazon, and iTunes, all that type of stuff. 5-star review. You want to share it around? That'd be awesome. I love it when people share. That's super cool. And if you want to support the show, you can go to Unapologetics, you go to patreon.com/unapologetics and support the show. You can also follow my YouTube channel that I had talked about at the beginning, and you can come follow me on Facebook. It's a great time. I just like to goof off. Okay, I like to have fun, and that is that's my main goal. Is first is do no harm and have fun. That is my whole life fucking philosophy. And I kind of want to make it a thing. I'm still gonna keep my regular sign off, right? But I want to say, stay logical but loving, y'all, and stay skeptical but stay compassionate. Right? What do we say to the haters, discriminators, and masturbator shamers? Fuck off. Masturbator shamers thing really, I didn't even think, wow, that is, that one actually fits with this episode quite well. Take it easy, y'all.